Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Limbus Company reaction. Today we have Canto 6 Boss 2 battle theme. I've listened to, I believe, the first boss battle theme in Canto 6, so I'm vaguely aware of what that was. It's been a while. I think it was sometime in fall of last year, so I definitely don't really remember what that was, but usually these aren't connected, so I'm not going to try using that as some sort of like a jumping off point of what to expect, and I guess just either way, we gotta listen to this one. So without further ado, let's go! Immediately jumping in. A lot of Limbus themes do that. Just jump right in with that atmosphere. Cinematic tension a lot of the time. This one's definitely no different. Almost sounds like Hans Zimmer Dark Knight. Very much like it, actually. A lot of the score he did for that shares some qualities. I want to hear where this goes so bad. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Love that. Love that motion. It's awesome. Those groupings of three. Kind of like a gallop feel to it. Raising that energy. The clock, an ever-present constant in these themes, I swear. This feels like the beginning of a third phase or something. Not as aggressive as I thought it was going to be on this final push, but we still have time. It's more restating what the first part did. Good synergy there, at least. Ooh. Ooh. Big finish on this one. Ooh, key change. Another one. Just scaling up. And the swell back into what would probably be a loop. Yep, that totally makes sense. This song's one of those ones that's really confusing for me because the way I'm hearing this, and I did make that parallel to Batman earlier with the Dark Knight stuff, for some reason that cinematic energy this has makes me want to address the potential of this being like, I know that there are like groups in this game, maybe this is a group, partial of that is also the chorus, that maybe there's an energy of vigilantism here, like it feels like that's calling out to me for whatever reason. I think it might just be the Batman Dark Knight comparison I made that's like calling to me and doing that, but I'm gonna trust my gut that there's something going on here with that sound and what this sound represents. I feel like the choir also does have that in there because it's signifying a large group of people harmonizing over a common goal in a way. So there's some reason everybody here is fighting for whatever purpose, and that's all that's really symbolizing to me in this one. There is that one spot near the end, like what I would call the third movement of this song, where they have like the solo female vocalist. That makes me feel like there's maybe a single person that's a factor in this, like whether they're calling for help or they're the ones that you're actively trying to defeat, and there's kind of a lamentation happening on that moment. It just feels like there is a significant purpose to have a soloist right there at a transition point, especially around where that clock tick starts to come in and that tension starts to rise. And of course, at the very end, with all of those dissonant notes and that constant tension being built up with all those key changes happening, there's a bunch of tension on this one. And I think that tension is reflected onto the group, or I think they're called syndicates in this game, so I'm going to go with that. But I think that that has a part to play in this, like all of that tension. Maybe they're doing something they don't necessarily want to. Maybe this is a we have to, not because we don't want to, or it's the tension of like emotional stress in here. Like maybe the people fighting for this, maybe the lead of this group is fighting for something that they firmly believe in and honestly would rather not be doing that right now. Maybe they're a mild-mannered person comparatively, and this is just one of those like, you pushed me to the breaking point, now I have to do this, and I don't want to be doing this, look at what you're making me do to you kind of songs, you know? There's a lot of tension in here, and that usually signifies people being pushed in a direction they don't want to be, whether that's something they don't want or the people they're against don't want. It can be either way, but a lot of tension means a lot of stress, which means a lot of emotional weight. So I figure that's what's going on here, is that the character being reflected here, probably the boss themselves, doesn't want to be here right now and is just dealing with this in potentially the worst way possible, but the only way they really can figure would be the only answer, basically. Like, it's the only choice they have. They tried maybe to handle things in a calmer fashion, but now daddy's upset is kind of the other energy this is giving off. So there's a lot of ways to think about that, but if I think about it exclusively in the way that there is a syndicate related to this, I'm figuring maybe that's what's going on here. This guy basically has to put his found family in danger in order to fight for something that he personally believes in, and everyone else is like, hey, yo, we didn't ask for this, but we'll do it because we have to. So there's that lamentation in the vocals, like there's this pain in the vocal parts because they don't want to be partaking in this either, and they know that while they're being forced to do it, it's also because they know that they trust the person they're working for. That's what I'm going for here. This is a really difficult one because there's no real clear, in my opinion, direction of where this came from or where it went. It kind of just kept going. That clock is really the only thing that changed the song's like meaning aside from the vocals being introduced in my brain. So it's very difficult. Just the cinematic energy of this one is already putting me in this place of like, okay, well, it's cinematic. So this is supposed to be some big important battle. They want you to feel the weight of emotional toll on this song. And like I said earlier, there's probably reasons for that, but I really can't tell. So this is one of those ones I really don't want to like fully commit to a thought. I've done that a few times in the past, sure, because I never want to be wrong, of course. Who wants to be wrong? But also, it's really hard to tell sometimes. And this is one of probably the top 3 or 4 where I cannot like firmly grasp onto like a character trait that I want to utilize. So maybe that's a part of it as well. So if I play into that field a little bit and kind of mess around in that pool of potential, maybe this song is about somebody who doesn't know who they are or what's going on either. Maybe the head of this group that's forcing everybody in this choir, so to speak, in the syndicate, to do whatever they are, maybe they don't know either. Maybe they're just as confused. Maybe there is a greater goal to this, or maybe they just really fucking hate somebody that they're going against, but maybe they don't know why. Maybe there's just like a pang of like annoyance in their head, like for some reason they can't place why they don't like you, but they just don't like you. And sometimes you just don't like people. I assume that happens a lot when you're talking about like gang affiliacy and syndicate related shit, where like people are involved in a very real, very deep, and potentially extremely dangerous basis, where it's like, okay, I just don't trust you. I can feel something off on the vibes here. fuck you. You know, like that's maybe what's happening here too. There are so many thoughts of what this song could be for me, which is why I am throwing out a bunch of them, because this is what the song is telling me and how it's written, but it's also telling me basically nothing other than this is epic. Epic song go here, fight bad guy, win. And like that's all I'm getting. There's not as much character to this one as there has been for other ones. So I think like that sense of there being like a husk of a personality is a part of that. And that's really difficult to figure out any character traits from if the point is for there not to really be a reason or not to be a purpose behind this, but it's just happening because that's what tension requires. It requires there to be anger or vitriol in some sort of way, and that's what's happening in this song. This is probably the weirdest breakdown I've ever had to do. I've had a few, like I said, where it's been very confusing, but this is the first one where I think I've been truly baffled. Maybe the second time. I feel like I have had this issue before, but I just really cannot tell, and I really can't commit to any of those. So if any of those ideas that I've said are even remotely correct, let me know. If I'm completely off base and everything is all happy and hunky-dory and everybody's best friends and this is one of those songs that just doesn't make sense for the vibes of the fight, because I know we've had that before, so maybe that's the case. It's really difficult to tell sometimes. But again, I'll stop yapping here. Thank you all so very much for watching, and let me know down below if I had any semblance of accuracy with any of that, even though I did throw a bunch of spitballs at the wall, and I'm hoping one of them sticks at least, but I don't know. And of course, if you have any other songs you want me to get to from Limbus Company or anything else from Project Moon, let me know what they are down in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to them. And otherwise, if you like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff like this in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!